Everybody. So today I did another one of my Sundance Animator interviews, and I love doing these. Today I was talking with Kate Renshaw-Lewis about her animated short Busybodies that is part of the Sundance Film Festival. And it was a lot of fun to talk with her and get to hear more about her process and to learn a little bit more about experimental animation and what exactly that means. So I hope you enjoy it and let me know what you think. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rachel's Reviews. And today we have another one of my Sundance Animator interviews because I love animators and I love animation. And it's so much fun to get to hear about their process and how they came up with the films that were submitted to Sundance. And today we have Kate Renshaw-Lewis, the animator behind these short Busybodies. And Kate, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So this is your first time on the podcast. So why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners and tell us a little bit about how you got started becoming an animator?
Yeah, so my name is Kate Renshaw-Lewis. I'm based in Los Angeles. I mostly specialize in 2D hand-drawn animation, but also dabble in other mediums as well. And I grew up watching a lot of animations. I didn't think I was going to be an animator until I was applying for colleges, and I found the experimental animation program at CalArts. And just
Mm-hmm.
something in my brain was like, that's what you're going to do, and you're going to love it. And
Mm-hmm.
it was true. And yeah.
So for those of us that are less familiar with the jargon, like what exactly is the difference between experimental animation and ordinary animation?
Yeah, so there's a lot of crossover. The two programs at CalArts and maybe labels are experimental animation and character animation. And character animation is much more based on classic narrative, plot, character, story, versus experimental animation. I would say it's a little bit more about the medium and playing with what animation can do, and like non-narrative films as well. But as I said, there's a lot of crossover between the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I was wondering when I saw that on your website. I was like, does that mean experimental style, experimental content, experimental,
I
but kind
mean,
of it's all of it?
yeah,
Yeah.
like one of my favorite animators who I think is a good crossover is Sally Cruikshank. She's
Okay.
incredible animator who does narrative character bases, but with an experimental style and experimental storytelling method. So yeah, it's a good
Mhm.
example of someone who does both worlds.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Rachel's Reviews? Do you look forward to Family Movie Night, Female Film Critics panels, or the Talking Disney podcast? If so, please consider supporting the podcast by becoming a Patreon. As a patron, you get to access monthly events such as the watch-alongs and Q&As, where you get to talk to stars and find out the behind the scenes of the movie making industry. And you can pick what I review for Family Movie Night or even become a guest on the podcast. Podcasts and YouTube channels are expensive, and I really, really could use your help. I would so appreciate it. You also get to be a member of the Facebook group where we talk about all the films that we're seeing, and we have so much fun. Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies and select one of the Rachel's fan tiers. That's patreon.com/hallmarkies. So it seemed like, in looking at your website, it seemed like you have a signature style that's very cute and these sort of cute creatures and things like that. Like, how did you kind of develop that signature style?
A lot of it was sort of like subconscious or without much thought, just kind of how I draw and how I naturally tend to draw.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it is based on what I watched growing up and currently and where my interest led. Like a big example is I grew up and I was absolutely terrified of E.T. as a kid. Really, really scared me. I would have these nightmares about him. But I
Mm.
think because I was so scared of him, the image of E.T. like kind of embedded into my brain and added to the style. And then other things like Wallace and Gromit and Gremlins and yeah, The Point and Dr. Seuss, all of that, I think just kind of brew in the back of my head. Yeah.
I wasn't scared by ET, but I was traumatized.
Yeah.
He's like when he's like in that tunnel, and Elliot's like, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
I just remember the first scene of him in the cornfield, I think it is,
Oh,
when
yeah,
it like
yeah,
the flashlight shines on him and he's scared too, and that just like
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
and then Drew Barrymore gets all scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. So I one of the things that stood out to me in watching the short is just I felt like there was a lot of texture
Mhm.
to the animation that it's like um it looked kind of textured for lack of a better word with everything and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so it's all fully printed out using a method
Mm-hmm.
of screen printing and inkjet printing with risograph techniques. The frames themselves are no bigger than about 2 inches. They're very
Oh,
small.
okay.
So when you're looking at the sheets of paper, they don't look that textured, but they're scanned at such a high resolution that you actually see the grain of the paper and you
Oh,
actually see the drops of ink spreading.
okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So was that like fully intentional or also kind of like, oh, I like this and this is how it
Yeah,
ended up looking?
the film came about because I was working at a print shop and experimenting with animated printmaking and wanted to make a film that used that method, but was also connected to that method with the story and the theme. And there was experimentation with like which paper, what resolution, what scale. But that was always the intent was to really get that the movement of the paper that can't really be seen by the eye immediately
Mm-hmm.
in person.
Mm-hmm. So why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about the short and what they could expect if they were to see it?
Yeah, so Busybodies it's just under 6 minutes. It's a film about the factory production method and sort of the absurdity and unknown behind how we get these disposable objects we have access to. The objects that I chose to use were lemons, rubber gloves, and fish from various inspirations, but kind of just like looking at when you go into a grocery store and there are these giant piles of items and duplicates of the same items. And just like really thinking like, wait, how did this get here? How do we have this? Who's making
Mm-hmm.
this? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that the creatures they like kind of look little lemmings, sort of.
Mm.
That's what I thought of. They kind of look like little lemmings, and they're in this sort of world with tubes, and at one point they're carrying all these oranges,
Yeah.
and then you even have the fish coming out of the faucet.
Yeah.
After they turn the faucet.
The idea of that was just like really playing with the absurdity and how we have created so many almost overly engineered systems for convenience that it feels ridiculous. So in this world, instead of having water to wash your hands, the taps for the fish, and you use lemon juice to wash your hands. But then you're
Mm.
also putting on rubber gloves. So it's like, do you even need to wash your hands? And those kind of questions of there's so many steps and yeah.
So there's a lot of cool sound design in the short
Mhm.
for all the water and other movements. So what was that like getting that?
Yes, I did all the sound design myself, and I recorded a lot of the Foley. A lot of it I recorded just in my bedroom really late at night because I live in a pretty busy part of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just me like turning off all my fans and gathering various objects and recording over and over again, like me pouring water or me like tapping on wood. A lot of ASMR style things. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Hey, this is Jen Johans, host of the podcast Watch with Jen, which delivers a steady stream of great movie recommendations, thoughtful career deep dives, and first rate conversations with film critics, authors, actors, journalists, filmmakers, and more. You can find Watch with Jen wherever you get your podcasts or hear us first at our Patreon at patreon.com/filmintuition.
You kind of had to create like a whole world. Like, how did you set out to do that? Did you like plan it all out or did it just kind of evolve?
Yeah, it was planned out. It was storyboarded. I pretty loosely storyboard, just in terms of for me, when I see it, I know exactly what's happening. I think if other people looked at it, they'd be like, what is going on? I also love to use mind maps for film, where it looks kind of like solving a crime, where I write out every single thing that inspires me, every thought I'm having, and then make the connections and kind of
Mm-hmm.
work from there. So like for this film, some big inspirations were Rube Goldberg machines. Um, and then like specifically for the fish, there are these fish here called grunions that have a crazy mating night in the summer. It's every full and new moon where they come to the shore and mate on the sand, and you just walk up to hundreds of silver fish flopping on the sand. And then like salmon cannons and imitation crab and yeah, a lot of different things pulled together.
That's cool. That's cool. So what was it like sort of getting all these different pieces and then combining them together and I mean, I'm sure it took you many years to do to make the film.
It took me, it was about just under a year to make
Oh,
this.
okay.
And this film also was supposed to be a quick test. It was my first time working with the production company, Axilla Entertainment, and the
Mm,
deal that we struck up was a two-film deal, and this film was just to make sure we work well together and make sure everything makes sense in terms of budget and timeline, and then start the next film that we're working on now. But the film kind of became much bigger than I thought it was going to be, in a great way and took longer,
hmm.
but I think it was worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. Had you ever applied to Sundance before?
I had applied with my thesis film and didn't get in, and I also did a intensive fellowship program with them, called Animation and Music, but
Oh.
unfortunately that program was scheduled right when the pandemic started. So it still happened, but it became virtual, and it was also during that time when everything was unknown and I was really depressed, and I think,
Mhm.
it was as great as it could be, but the timing was just not wonderful.
Mm.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense. And so what in animation as a whole, as far as the medium is most exciting to you right now? What do you think?
Um, I think it's the medium with the most potential in terms of you can make anything happen in it that you think of and just by yourself. Versus with live action, you can also do wonderful, miraculous things, but it can cost a lot of money and requires a huge crew. With animation, like I can just sit in a room with a stack of paper and make anything I want happen. Like I just think it's pure magic. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's become so accessible to so many people,
Yeah, definitely.
and compared to the past, which is really
Yeah.
exciting, and to see people like Gintz, that he was able to do with flow
Yeah,
is I think
exactly.
really inspiring.
Yeah, and I hope we're at like a really kind of scary and curious time right now with AI. And I
Oh yeah,
hope,
that's true.
yeah, that instead of taking opportunities away from people, the programs just continue to become more accessible and people can actually try to animate themselves and make films. Yeah,
Hmm.
we'll see
Hmm.
what happens.
Yeah. So what is your favorite part of Busybodies, of your short?
Um, I'm a big fan of the fish coming out of the tubes. It was really fun to animate. There's also one scene. I mean, a lot of this, like the crew was just four people. I animated the entire thing. My partner RCIE digitally colored the film for me. Then I had a musician help, Alex Edgeworth, as well as Arias, and then a producer, Eric Ackerman. But like 80% of the film was just me alone working on it. And there's this one scene where they're marching with a package. And for some reason, just as soon as I animated the march, it just like made me laugh so hard.
Mm,
So that was a nice
yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you must have been so excited when you found out you got into
Oh, yeah.
Sundance.
Yeah, I had no expectations of it at all because so much of film festivals feels like you're just shouting into the void of just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm spending some money that might go to absolutely nothing and some time. We'll see. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's very exciting. Well, we like to end our interviews with some fun, get to know you questions. So, first question, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Okay. I love coffee ice cream, but then there's also I'm a big fan of Persian ice cream, and there's this one flavor, I might mispronounce it, called Falude. That is, I think it's rice noodles frozen.
Oh,
You pour fresh lemon juice on it, and it's like the best texture in the world. It's so good.
cool. That sounds good.
Yeah.
What is your favorite color?
I'd probably green. It switches between red and green. Like, yeah, like that.
Okay, cool. What music are you into?
All sorts. I'm trying to think what I've been listening. I mean, an all-time favorite is Harry Nilsson, who also made music for this wonderful animated feature called The Point. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, what is your go-to date night food?
I love anything with fish. Yeah, love fish.
That's probably why you have the fish in the, in the movie. Okay, what is your go-to date night activity? Going out and
Um,
doing something.
what do we do? Honestly, my partner and I really love to just go. There's like a bar close to my house. We love to just go with sketchbooks and draw and order like a beer.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay, which do you like better, dogs or cats?
I like rabbits. I know it's not the option, but I have a pet rabbit
Oh,
right here. Yeah.
okay. All right. Which do you like better, beaches or mountains?
Beaches. Yeah, I love beach is the best place on earth. Yeah.
Me too. Me too. All right. What's your favorite holiday to celebrate?
Halloween. I love making costumes.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's your most epic costume?
I think probably about 2 years ago, I made this one Doctor Who character called Lady Cassandra, who's this giant sheet of skin. So I made like a giant
Mm-hmm.
fake skin. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, last question. What is your all-time favorite animated film?
That's a tough one. I love Fantastic Planet in terms of feature film. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then shorts. There's so many. Asparagus by Susan Pitt, Penn and his wife. Yeah, there's so many.
cool. Great. Very good. You did it. Answered all the questions. Thank you so much for taking time to talk with us. We really appreciate it and have a great time at the festival. And congratulations.
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
So do you have social media or anything like that you want to share?
Yeah, I do. My Instagram is Kate's Belly, and it's like Kate's dot belly. And then my Vimeo is Kate Renshaw-Lewis. I think it's Kate RL is the link. Yeah.
Great. Great. We'll put that all in the description and have a great time at the festival.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Merch Store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies Merch Store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
I'd like to thank Kate for coming on and talking with us. This was so much fun to get to talk with her. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about all the things that we talked about in the comment section or on social media. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes, and at KSL Movie Show. And make sure that you check out my playlist with all of my Sundance content. You definitely want to be included in there. I'm going to be doing out of theater reactions to everything that I am seeing. Plus, we have the preview that I did with Will, and we have all of the interviews with the animators. So you definitely want to make sure that you're checking out. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. If you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that so much. Also have the Patreon group, and that's the biggest way you can support everything I'm doing. You get to be part of cool experiences like watch-alongs and other neat interactions with talent. And you can listen ad-free to all the episodes. So I really try to make it worth your while. Definitely please check that out. And I have the merch store. We have hashtag Animation Junkie shirts and other cool stuff. Definitely take a look at that. And thanks again to Kate. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.